First, I just want to say thank you so much to Mikkel and Archimedes Spa for hosting us here, and to every single one of you that has just contributed just an immense amount of information and invigoration and creative ideas. And my mind is just brimming with it all. So my name is Cynthia Josayma, and I'm the founder and president of the Balneology Association. And Mary Bemis is one of our advisors, and Mikhail has been actually a kind of a mentor through friendships over the years in this realm. It's not my original background. I've been working in this field for about 6 or 7 years, first through discovery and then through engagement and intention. My background actually is in international environmental policy. I worked throughout the Asia region principally for about 15, 17 years, bringing community forestry into both visibility, practice, and policy procedures. And in every country, we would always be invited to go to natural mineral waters and take the baths during, after, and completion. And it wasn't until I kind of bumped into this field when I was in Portugal, just on a adventure trip, and I walked into a natural mineral water spa and signed up for 3 things in Portuguese that all were agua something. And then and I paid my money, and the guy said, "Okay, now go up and meet the doctor." And I said, "Pardon me, I don't need a doctor." And he says, "No, these are medical mineral waters." Oh, I need to step back one step. How many people know what the word balneology is? Few people, okay. Balneo is the use of natural mineral waters for health and wellness. Natural mineral waters. And using them across 3 forms: steaming, soaking, drinking and inhaling, and also through ice. So vapors, liquid, and solids in the 3 natural forms. And it is humans' oldest ways of curing themselves, that along with herbs. So to go back to, I'm in Portugal, the fellow says, "Go speak to the doctor." I said, I have no health condition, why do I need to see a doctor? And he said, "Well, these waters are medical mineral waters, and you need to check in how these waters will affect you." So I went upstairs, the room was filled with people of many ages. There was a curioso box filled with little white things, which turned out to be past kidney stones, because those particular waters were very effective for that in particular. So I went to speak with the doctor, and he asked me my conditions. I said, "I don't have any. I just want to go take a bath, take a sauna." And so he passed me for approval. Then began the 3 weirdest treatments I've ever had, till I began a 15 country survey of the field of balneology. But the first one was a bath with an electric mat. And as I put my toe in, not knowing the water was electrified, I went, "Ah!" Because your mother always told me, don't take electrical implements into water. They explained to me that I should be back in the water with the electric mat, because it was going to harmonize my electrical system to be in balance with Earth's energy. I said, "Okay." And I went with a constant buzz. At the end of my 3 treatments, the others were equally as bizarre, I went back to that fellow and I said, "What was that?" And he introduced me even further to this field of balneology. He gave me a tour through it, and it set me on fire. As I say, I went through about 7 or 8 countries in Asia, throughout Europe, interviewing all the chief medical officers, trying out all the different kinds of waters. I don't have any diseases, so I was just observing how my body was reacting to these different modalities. And then I came back to the United States to find out what's going on here. And I found we have a huge landscape of balneology institutions that are no longer used and known for their medical purposes. They've all disappeared. In fact, Native Americans guided every immigration group to natural mineral waters for different health and healing qualities. Our first public purchase of land by the United States was Hot Springs, Arkansas. Hot Springs, Arkansas. This predates the actual National Park Services. The first national park that was purchased on behalf of Americans was Yellowstone. 2 geothermal things. But the geothermal element is Earth's natural sauna. It's the first natural sauna. I brought a book. It's called Stories from Our Heated Earth. Dr. John Lund from the Geothermal Institute, he recently retired and has gone full-time into geothermal energy. He's from Oregon. We have a link on our website to his amazing collection of very detailed 3 to 5 pages on all the major natural mineral water spas across America and in major spas around the world. But this particular book has about 25 different countries. There are fantastic maps and photographs and histories. It's truly a gem. It's published in 1999. You can find it, through used books like abe.com.
I love that phrase, heated earth.
Heated earth.
Like
heated earth.
Heated person or heated, we have an analogy there.
Exactly.
Very interesting.
So he writes the very first chapter, and he notes, we humans all emerged from the Rift Valley in Kenya. Rift Valley is replete with geothermal energy, and humans observed this. They observed animals going in, birds going in, healing, recuperating, and people started to use the waters there. This was one of the most astounding things for me to learn, subsequent migration patterns of humans where the people left, going through Yemen, up through Egypt, all around the world, all the DNA maps that people are creating today, and people would only stop and settle when they found 3 common things: fresh, pure drinking water, good hunting grounds with herbs in the background, and a natural mineral water, geothermal or natural minerals, within a day to 2's walk, because that was the local hospital. That was the place for curative values if you've been out hunting and got hurt or wounded. When I first read that, I said, could that be true? And so I just would pick a country, say, where is the origin of first origin of settlement? Where's the nearest natural mineral water place with sauna steam involved with it? There you have it. Ojo Caliente, for instance.
Cynthia, many of the creation myths are God. The Russian creation myth, God is in a banya, and he's sweating. No, he wipes the sweat off with straw and throws the straw to the earth, and that's where humans came from.
Yes.
The Native Americans have a similar type of creation myth, starting with the sweat lodge. So it's all connected to what you're talking about there.
So, because I've been focusing on balneology, which is soaking, steaming, drinking, inhaling, I actually hadn't focused specifically on just one. So that's what's been so interesting about the steam thing. And I never have focused on Finland, for instance, or in Minnesota. And so this part has been quite interesting for me. And and then also the native tribals, and then listening to what are the determinants that feel authentic and deep, and which are the combination of having stone, and not just stone from the earth, but stone that comes up from the earth. Most people, when I asked the word stone, you said, oh, they were lava rocks, things that were old rocks. So it's humans bringing what our original intention of, like our origin of place is being recreated. And I'm also, my own mind is wondering, well, I wonder if, like, in areas such as Finland, these recreations are because it's an in-between place from the next geothermal area. You settle, there isn't a geothermal thing, so you create that ambiance for yourself, but stay in the place. This is just what came to me yesterday, wondering, could that be a possibility? So, so to come back to this field of balneology, I come back to the United States. The history of our use, it's littered across the landscape. From Calistoga, actually, California has the most in the country. But the big developments were on the East Coast. But nobody really knew about it except for a core group of people who have written about it and studied it. So I met historians and practitioners who could never practice because no one knows what it is. So I said, why don't we have a conference call about this? Do you think that we might want to bring this practice back? And so over the course of about 6 months, I specialize in, it's called multi-stakeholder, so you bring in one person from each kind of discipline, knowing that each person has a big connection within their own discipline, that they can set their own people on fire with. And so over the course of 6 months, we, in conversation and kind of brainstormed the history and the limitations. Actually, balneology was the first kind of medical practice to get shut down in the United States. The FDA, as soon as it was formed in 1920, said, the water doctors actually were the biggest medical practitioners across our country. And yet, new medicines and being able to take minerals and actually make them into pills, these were all, along with germ theory came up. There was polio outbreaks. There were lots of things that kind of helped to crunch down the use of balneology. But the few times that people have tried to surface it, it gets pushed down again. We think it's the right time now, and that it's about earth medicine. The other aspect is, while we haven't been doing any work on it, it has been consistently taught, researched, applied in countries all around the world. And that's, again, as I mentioned, I just traveled to a few, but last year I got an opportunity to join the largest and oldest. It's called the International Society of Medical Hydrology and Balneology. And I was there with about 380 doctors from, I think it was like 35 different countries, all who are using all the contemporary, blind studies, randomized, for every kind of water, for every kind of treatment. And they come out with publications. This year it's going to be in Kyoto. The educational practice is usually within universities, usually within the medical departments. The head of ISMH is from Turkey. He's in the medical department, but he's created a whole program called Earth Medicines, which I'm particularly fond of, and I would love to see that idea be part of how it enters within alternative complementary care modalities, where everyone says we're going to have to bring the practice back probably through that realm. Yes?
So what would you like to see happen in the next 5 years in terms of the consumer, or the user of hot springs? What's available, or what does that experience look like?
Very good. So what we've identified, we've done 2 public outreaches. We did a Northern California tour where we went out and talked about the field of balneology and got input from the communities up there of spa owners, users, doctors, and we also did Truth or Consequences. Our goal from hearing from them and also within our own respect is, first and foremost, is education, is providing the education of all the benefits of sauna, of soaking, of drinking these natural mineral waters. And when you're not in a location where there's natural mineral waters and you're in a city and using waters such as here, you still have the benefits of it. The only difference is now you know that those particular waters are particularly good for your health, and you can supplement while living in a city if you don't have the opportunity to go regularly. So first and foremost is education of the benefits of it, and having people, we've been talking about that Fitbit, the computer things. It's getting people to really think and be observant and conscientious of their own health. In the same way, here's a true story. I took a friend, I grew up in Berkeley, we both grew up in Berkeley. She'd never been to natural mineral waters, we went to Germany together. and I had already been to many of them. So I said to her, what I found for myself is some waters I get in, and I'm completely neutral. They're warm, they feel good, it's lovely. Another kind of mineral water, I get close to it and I jump back. I cannot tolerate it. There's something about it that just, it's wrong for me, where a friend of mine will just like go in and go, I'm home. And I said, and then there's another water. When I get in that water, it's like I am perfect. It's something like that light steam people have been talking about here in the sauna, where you just know you're home. It's just the most transcendent feeling. So she said, okay. So we went and we did 2 or 3 different spas, and she got to Baden-Baden, she slipped in the water, and she went into that place. And she says, oh my God, I understand what you're saying. I said, I'm glad you've discovered the water. Notice the chemistry profile of that, and make sure you're eating enough vegetables and fruits and that either complement that or take some extra, because you know that this mineral profile is really good for your body. So she goes, okay. 6 months later, she calls and she goes, you know what? I just did our family lineage for the first time. She tracked where grandma, grandpa, great-grandma, her grandparents came from a half a mile away from, and had been, from Baden-Baden, and had been there for 500 years. She never knew that, but that's why her genetic body, her DNA body, resonated with the chemistry of those particular waters. It just went. That's why I get curious about what we're drawn to. You've just recently gotten your DNA,
yeah.
and so what is it about the modality of attraction? Going into the kinds of sweats. The thing that really struck me is just upstairs, Turkish, very moist. Russian, hot and dry, right? Right. So the question that I have in thinking about that, because I've experienced all those different modalities, and I have a predilection toward one over the other. I feel much better in one over the other. And I wonder, is my genetic body needing more moisture or less moisture? And just knowing that it brings my body into that place of perfect health. When I was in Germany, these kind of cultural adaptations to what is good health is just constantly kind of stimulated my thinking. My family, I'm from Berkeley, we had an actual naturopathic store, top of Solano, and people would come in and they'd get their homeopathy and minerals and vitamins, and I'd always think, why do people need all that stuff? But I think we do. People know when you do need them, and so I've always kind of paid attention to why individuals gravitate towards something. So in Germany, what was interesting was there was this one health center, and they give you a map with, let's say, 10 modalities to do, and a very strict time schedule, very strict. First room, tepidorium. You slowly raise your temperature, 3 to 5 minutes. Then you move to the collidorium, raise your temperature for 6 to 7 minutes. And the third one was a mineral water place, and I was ready for that. I jumped in. It was freezing cold. I jumped out. There's a woman there who says, no, 3 minutes, get back in. And I'm like, okay. and they say, we have in Germany, carefully measured the therapeutic benefits to every single step. And I'm thinking, you don't know my body. My body wanted out right then, but they're saying, no, we have the authority to guide you through this. So, but maybe there's something to that. That's a question that I have. Go to Korea, the recipe is exactly the opposite. You go to the waters first, and you soak deeply in the waters, and then you move into high heat, low heat, ice cold, minerals, salt caves. But again, they've all been carefully mapped out based on their cultural determination of what health is. So to come back to America and the field of sweat and sauna and balneology, which is all three forms together. I'm curious because we are a country of immigrants. I'm really, really curious. And even if we get to the kind of what I think is the kind of the sweet space that we are working in now, which is people have become very conscientious of local terroir. And balneology addresses that perfectly because you study not only the water and effects on body, you're studying the geology of the earth so that you understand the emergence of the stones and their benefits. You're studying the climatology because when you go in with a health condition, you may need a drier heat or a wetter heat or something like that. So it includes kind of the whole localization awareness, and so people who would be trained in balneology, or if you become aware as an individual about balneology, you would know, what, for this feeling that I have at this time of the year, I would best be suited going here versus there. So our challenge, balneology is, yes, yeah.
The reason why you were guided through
Give him the mic.
this program, because in Germany, when you go to a spa, that's why you also have to see a doctor. Everything is insurance covered,
There we go.
reimbursed.
Liability.
So it's a prescription of a gastrointestinal program or an orthopedic program. So the determination of the balneological program or the spa program is based on indication. So you have a physician PDR, reference guide. So if you have arthritis, he just looks arthritis and he gives you a list of facilities, spas, where to go to. Like the Kneipp, not the beer therapy, the Kneipp. The nickname for a bar in Germany is Kneipp, so Father Kneipp was researched the medicinal application of the systematic application of mineral water or warm water and cold water in the University of Munich. The balneological, it's a department of balneology where they test the chemical, the physical, etc. Feedback to these applications.
Thank you. So thank you so much for explaining that for us, because that is exactly within our organization, and when we've gone out to the public, one of the tensions that we're currently experiencing amongst ourselves is this idea of medicalizing the water. Some of us think that getting the attention of what are the true benefits that can be measurable so that the treatments can be actually covered by alternative complementary care, new insurance plans. I think maybe someone's going to be speaking.
Talk about that
Right? Okay. So there's that part of it. Some who want that, and then other people who say that's not what the experience is about. The experience is that transcendent experience. It's the spiritual experience. It's the heroine's journey with her hero. So we're finding that element, and then there's the, what are the modalities that should or should not be included. So my role in all of this is to keep the conversation going and making a couple little decisions each month, moving them forward, and keep enlarging, and let's just see what happens. I think that that's about as good as we can get, but my baseline and what keeps me moving in this is this notion of re-engaging us humans with the health in Earth's mineral waters. Because we are getting so disconnected, and it will continue. I mean, I worked out of Japan for 3 years. People literally live in the 35th tower, go down and go up into the 71st floor, and they don't even breathe air. what they do is they go out and they bathe in the forests, they bathe in the mineral waters, they commune deeply. And so this is the part that, the reverence, the respect, the relationship with Earth, that's my core place
Good.
with this.
Good. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
One last point, and this is in regards to funding. And I just want to throw this out because it was an interesting model I heard in Italy. Government funding was disappearing and whatnot. So what they actually did is they've created a consortium of natural mineral water springs spas that all contribute a percentage of their annual, income, a small percent, whatever it is, 1% or something. And those consortiums, they determine what the research for that particular year would be. What are the high points? And it also has to integrate users, the people who actually come to the place. So it's a kind of a combined thing, and what it's done is significantly improved not only the education of the patients, but the interest and knowledge of the owners of the place for the care and the concern of it. And so the pot of money every year has been growing. They have millions and millions of dollars now, starting over a 10-year period. So I just want to put that out as that was one way that they got funding going that I thought was creative as an alternative to just simply government and any other way.
Good. Okay, thank you. No, I'm going to have to move along here. So